Hello, I'm Minta Trimble with the City of Pikeville, along with Barry Cheney. Barry is the City Commissioner of the City of Pikeville. Welcome, Barry.
Well, thank you, Minta. Good to be here again.
We're here again for the City of Pikeville Commission Report.
Yes, and this will be the last one that I do.
I know that's some very sad news. I know I'm saddened deeply.
Well, it is sad news, but you know, I've had a great 10 years with the city. I'm pleased and humbled that I got an opportunity to serve for all those years, and you know, all the things that I've learned, all the things I've been a part of. It's just been a tremendous experience, something that I'll never forget. And you know, I'm able to drive through town and see things that I had a part in, and it gives me a little sense of pride. And
I'm sure it does. Know that you contributed to a lot of the decisions that was made towards the progress, and know that that will continue.
Oh yeah, and we've got 3 excellent people coming on. You've got 2 excellent people that have stayed on, and I just can't say enough about those guys. They bring a new perspective to the city. They're not interested in ripping up the foundation and starting over. They're interested in building on the foundation. They're very enthusiastic and got a lot of fresh ideas, and I think it's going to be a real good commission. And which you've still got Jerry Keith Coleman, who is a graduate of the University of Kentucky, very, very brilliant young man. I say young, he's about 50-something now. And you've got the steady hand of Mayor Carter, and he's been here, I think, 14 years and seen all the progress. And so it's a good mix. You know, even in business, it's good to have a shake-up at the top sometimes. And I think the people of Pikeville have made a very good choice in who they've chosen for their commission this time.
So tell us, the incoming commissioners will be as of January the 1st?
Yeah, they will be sworn in on December 22nd. They'll take their office or take their seats on the 22nd. They'll have to go to KLC training, and which they'll learn a lot of the do's and don'ts.
About being a city official?
Right, and one of the reasons they started that was because after new commissions came in, a lot of times there were lawsuits, and the biggest problem was that everybody wanted to come in and clean house, and you had some illegal firings. So.
You know, and even though it's new, you know, they still, you know, I'm sure will realize that projects don't come and go in 1 year or 2 years at the term of a commissioner. That the start of a project will last sometimes 10, 5 years, maybe 3, you know, and sometimes, you know, instant gratification, but how the foundation of everything's built, they're going to continue on what you guys have started. And that's the awesome part, I think, about it, is they might bring new ideas, but they're definitely continuing on a success record. And I'm just can't say enough about how well though everyone has, you know, kind of contributed to that and made that happen.
Yeah. Well, you know, those guys have been covered up with all that's been going on. They got the thumb drives to take home, and came to the commission meeting.
Yeah, we got to meet them the other night.
Yes, and I don't know if I haven't talked to any of them about what they've experienced and what they think about all that they've had to read and study so far. But I don't know if they're probably a little bit overwhelmed.
So tell us who they are.
Well, it's Bob Shurtleff, and everybody knows Bob. Graduate of the UK, played football for UK, Pikeville High School football player.
Bob lives at Poly Addition there in the city limits.
He does, and he works for AEP, and he's done a lot of work with probably almost all the businesses that have came to Pikeville in the past 10 years. So he's, you know, he has a lot of experience in that. Pat McNamee, I understand he is a accountant for Kendrick Billing. So he's worked with a lot of companies, and
Pat's also, you know, his boys I know go to, you know, Pikeville Elementary. His brother's a coach at the high school, yes. And his other brother that just moved last year, his wife was a coach at the University of Pikeville for the girls basketball team. So they live in Lower Bowles Edition. They're, again,
Yeah.
you know, to be a city commissioner, you have to live in the city, you know, and it's a benefit that all of these guys are very engaged already in the community.
Well, you know, Steve too. He is, you know, he has a lot of good life experience. He's involved in customer service, and he really understands that, and it shows on him.
Yeah, it does.
And you know, and I remember whenever I first took office, or you know, after I found out I was going to get to take office, you know, I went and talked to Shane Hall. He was coming off, I was coming on, and I went the next morning and talked with him, and we had a good conversation. And you know, I really felt after I left his office that maybe the better man lost. And you know, I've always had that on my mind. You know, would the city have been better off if he had got to stay on and I'd got to stay on, or I'd not been put on? But you know, we all serve at the will of the people.
That's what I was getting ready to say. That's the people. That's what they call an election.
It is.
And you know, the choice and the choice of four, you know, different commission, you know, to bring together all those opinions and thoughts and ideas. But you know, I didn't know then, but I know now that I have to argue with that, Barry. I have to argue the right choice was made. So they will continue, like you said, with the thumb drive. There'll be you know, the swearing-in ceremony, and they'll take January 1, and they're gonna roll with it, and some things that are exciting, and some new change that the city's brought about with the Expo Center.
Well, Monday night we had a board meeting of the Expo Board, and which is the existing commissioners were named as board members, but that as we roll off, new commissioners will roll into that role. Right now, that board will meet once a year. I think July 30th, I believe, is the planned date. The meeting that we had Monday night was to approve the bylaws, name the chairman of the board, which is Jimmy Carter. I say Jimmy all the time. I've known him for years, but Mayor Carter, Donovan Blackburn be CEO, Christy Bilter be secretary, and they will begin to hire. They will begin to hire employees for the new Expo Center, and that will be something new, very new. And I think that people will be very pleased with the direction that the Expo Center is going to take. You know, as we talked about on the last show, the entertainment business had changed quite a bit, and we have to change with that. You know, SMG could not provide us with the quality acts that we were accustomed to, and so we chose to go another avenue, and which SMG will be retained as consultant for 6 months, and we had a good breakup with them, I guess you could say. So we've parted friends with them, and they'll be helping us out to get started, get our feet on the ground and get started, and I think people are really going to be pleased. You know, I've already heard some rumors of some good things that are going to happen.
Well, I know that they've already released Travis Tritt's going to be here in February.
Yes.
So that's exciting. And so, you know, again, times have changed. Times have changed in a lot of areas, but this being a 7,000-seat arena, as compared to some larger cities now that some of the artists are choosing to go to, we have to find a different fit and redefine. So, you know, the days maybe of knowing what's coming might not be that. Look for different, and hopefully, you know, it'll be engaging. And I know last night they had just a half arena there with Joe Robinson and the Stepping Stones.
Yes.
And
that was something, wasn't
it sounded great. So, you know, it doesn't always have to be the biggest to be the best.
It doesn't. And, you know, the big change in the music industry is artists used to travel to these venues to introduce new songs. And since nobody buys records and nobody buys CDs and nobody buys tapes anymore, they just download the music. In order to make a good income, you have to do so many shows a year, and these promoters will buy these shows up and they'll put them in the bigger venues because it's more money for them, more money for the artists.
Right. So yeah, but I'm glad to see that there's an effort made, because the Expo is an important part of downtown. It's an important part of for economic development. It's like what we call, or I call, the big box on the corner that everybody goes to, and you want to spread out and go to other things around.
It is, and it's important. When we took over the expo, the reason we did that, we knew the importance, understood the importance. When it was failing and finances were short for that. There were several alternatives ordered or put forth, what it should be, what it shouldn't be, and we didn't want to lose that economic impact that the Expo Center had on the community. It was important for our restaurants, it was important for our hotels, it's important for the quality of life of the people of Eastern Kentucky as a whole. And we wanted to keep that open, and we took steps to do it. And I'm very proud to have been a part of that. And there's a lot of stories that I could tell you about what went on there. Maybe I will someday.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I know, and it's not just concerts. I think back to how excited the grandchildren were to get to go to the wrestling. Oh my goodness, that wrestling event was, it was just was it a sellout?
It was a sellout.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to say it until you confirmed it.
Oh yes, it was a great event. Great event.
So and they will try to touch a lot of different areas of entertainment. They'll have that and the circus, and I've already been thinking of some things that I know that, a taste of different kind of culture. I don't know. I'm looking forward to different opportunities to see things come in there.
Well, there will be. There will be some changes, and like I said, I think everybody will be very satisfied. And it's important to have the Expo Center. It's important to have Jenny Wiley Theater.
It's very important.
And when we look at what downtown has become, and your work in downtown, it's like I told the Main Street Board that last meeting I went to. Downtown should be a place of inspiration. Even the song Downtown that Petula Clark sang was
exactly.
Tony Hutch, his first visit to New York was inspired when he was standing on the street and the neon lights flashed on and the traffic going by, and he actually said he got the melody in his head and ran back to his room and started writing a song. And and downtowns should do that to people. It should be a place that you would come to lighten up, to kind of forget your troubles, to be inspired. A lot of literature and poems and all have all been written about downtown someplace. And I think our downtown has become a place of inspiration. I think it's become a place that people want to be a part of.
Well, when the downtowns changed, back in the early 70s, we call it the sprawl, downtown. Yeah. They left downtown to go to the malls and things. Before that, downtown was the core of all business. It was the core of business and core of shopping, of gathering places, people meeting on the corners, going to the coffee shop, Hobbs department store, all of those things. So it did a turnover. There are still retail places out there, but if you want an authentic experience to gather with someone and sit down and feel what your community's about, that's what downtown is. It's the heart.
Absolutely.
It's the heart of your city, and that's what Main Street tries to to do. And it's not just in events; it's in walking to Jenny Wiley, walking to the expo, going to a restaurant, seeing people. It's that walkability. It's the quality of life again.
It is. Well, when you go to a show at Jenny Wiley, and after the show, you can walk down the street, get a sandwich, sit and talk to your girlfriend or your wife or whoever, or your family. It's fun. Or you can go to Roast It and get a cup of coffee. And
we've got 3 new businesses coming in. I don't know if you knew about that.
Well,
I'm sure you
do. You did mention that.
So those, one will be open. In fact, this Saturday is the grand opening of a new business on Caroline Avenue. It's called C.C. Bell. It was in the newspaper. This is their 3rd location. So I think that's just unbelievable to say. They have confidence that being in Pikeville will allow them to grow, and it's a boutique, so it's a shopping experience.
Well, it's great that people see the value and the opportunity of downtown. That's a definite sign that we're growing. That people are seeing downtown as a place that they want to go visit and want to be a part of.
And then Old Anderson's building downstairs is going to be CrossFit mountain climbers. So for
Wow.
those people that are really into exercise and anything to do with mountain climbing and exercise, it sounds like the name of that will suit that well.
It does. It might be a little past me now.
And then upstairs, I'm just so excited about this because a lot of people, I think we talked about it the last time, the escape rooms. They're putting some escape rooms upstairs, and it's going to be called Escape Pikeville. So you, your family, your team, whatever can go there. You've got an hour to try to get clues to get out of that room.
Well, you know, that's I understand that's a good exercise in team building too.
Exactly.
And a lot of corporations use that today.
So those three are coming about. And also they're on 2nd Street, Appalachian Antiques and. So we're getting an antique store downtown, and a lot of people that tell us they come here at the hotels and stuff, that's something that there's an antique trail. They travel that and want to know, what do you have in your downtown that meets that need?
Yeah, well, everybody loves antiques.
Well, over 50, they say 50 years old makes an antique. You and I fit into that category.
Well, some are older than others.
Others don't. Thank you, Barry.
But too, and another addition to town, we're going to have bike trails. That plan that plan is finished, and we'll probably I think it may be spring before they start it, but the plan is finished. They've Vaughn and Melton Engineering has spent some time on getting those paths straightened out, so you'll be able to ride your bicycle all around town and be safe.
That'll be very exciting because I see people already, but now they'll have a given path for that.
They will, and a lot of people use the town for exercise. You always see people walking, running, and all hours of the day and night. It's just unbelievable. I see several of my old friends out walking and running.
Mm-hmm. And I know someone was telling me yesterday about a article that they saw on Facebook about in desperate times how Pikeville has excelled.
It has. I read the article. I forget the gentleman's name. He was an economist that wrote it, and he came and did a study at Pikeville, an independent study at Pikeville. And he was very complimentary of Pikeville and how that people are growing. And actually, the Census Bureau estimates our current population at 7,400, and to continue to be able to grow in population when every place around us is decreasing in population, it says a whole lot about the city of Pikeville. We talk about the foundation that we're leaving. Right now, Pikeville, the city of Pikeville, is the only place that is really shovel-ready for economic development. At Marion's Branch, it's one of the top industrial parks in eastern Kentucky. If Ford Motor or Toyota, GM, or whoever came and said, give us 200 acres, we want to put a plant there, they're ready. There's no infrastructure that has to be put in the ground and created. It's ready. They can go ahead, do a geo work, and they could go ahead and build that there. And I think that the growth in Pikeville will continue. It's estimated, Minta, that Marion's Branch could create right around 2,000 jobs. And if you consider what the future expansion of Pikeville Medical Center, future expansion of the university, we could probably see our town grow to over 10,000 people. We could probably see over 15,000, maybe 16,000 people a day going to work here, which is not very far from over the 12,000 that work here every day now.
And people don't realize that just getting out of that category, it's not a bad category, under 10,000,
right,
but putting it into a different category allows for different kinds of funding, allows for more, ventures into economic development. It gives you sometimes, you're looked at in a different light.
You are looked at in a different light, and progress is something that you have to want, and because there's a lot of work involved. If you sit, if we sat in those commission seats and waited on the world to come to us, we'd be waiting a long time. Mayor Justice, his decision to make Pikeville the hub of Eastern Kentucky, regional hub, was the right decision. And the hiring of Donovan Blackburn, when he was hired, they told him, "We don't want to see you. We want to see you in Frankfort. We want you down there working. We want you in Washington working." And he did. And you know, and that pays off in big dividends. Pikeville has received $53 million and some odd $100,000 in change in the past 2 years in grants, and that's a lot of work to get that. You know, sometimes it's 6 months or a year to getting all the paperwork together to get a grant. And you know, it's just tremendous the work that's done. It's tremendous that all the work that the city staff does. You take the finance department, one of the tops in the state. I mean, Tanya Taylor and Sandy, they do a fantastic job there. Our tax department with Grace, which she's retiring. You know, she told me she'd stay as long as I did. So
kind of turned out the same way at the same time.
It did, but you know, she's got that Marcia and Beverly that working there, and you know, they do a tremendous job. They've got one of the best collection rates in the state.
They do. I know Grace comments to me that when she goes to other places for, you know, yearly conferences for training and workshops and things, that I think other people are envious of that. That you know, because Grace has been there over 40 years. She's very good at her job, and she believes that for to put the taxpayers' dollars to work in the best way that they can benefit the people of Pikeville, and she works hard to collect that money. That's
true. And you know, if you can't collect it, you can't spend it.
Right.
And she's done a fantastic job. And the you know, the utility department, Kim works in there. She does a fantastic job. And Rebecca, she does a great job. And got Elizabeth Thompson, who's working in economic development. She's a dynamo. Then you got Emily Fields that does our grant writing, and you know, she's just extremely intelligent. I'm telling you, you know, I talk to her, I feel so dumb. And then Steve works in IT. He's I mean, he's a whiz.
And you know, and I know that you're not forgetting. It's just it came to my mind. Is our fire and our police department.
Well, let's don't talk about them just yet.
Okay, you want to save the best for last?
I got Andy Linton.
Oh, okay.
I can't forget Andy Linton.
Can't forget. Well, I wasn't forgetting.
You know, Andy, and well, Jimmy Taylor, who's over our nuisance ordinances and stuff, helps Andy some. But Andy, you know, when he first came on, I thought, well, you know, I don't know if he'll be able to handle everything or not. But man, he jumped in and handles Muscle on Main and all those events, and does a fantastic job.
And with tourism, I know Andy, you know, he believes deeply in what he does, and he definitely puts in the hours.
Oh, he does, and he never complains. He never complains. Even when I give him a suggestion, you know, he doesn't complain, you know. So.
You know, you know, when Andy first came, I thought, I don't know about that beard now. You know, I don't know about those tattoos, but you know, that's just another point that sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover.
Oh, no.
You can't. And in today's business world, people of all kinds make things rock and roll.
And we don't want to forget Christy Billiter. She does a fantastic job.
She is. She's our city clerk, and you know, she takes those minutes and takes care of all of the record keeping and things for the city, and keeps everything in line.
Yeah, and she has no. She uses good grammar and does all dots the I's and crosses the T's and puts commas where they're supposed to be and all that. And she does a great job. And then I don't want to forget Sean. He's moving to the economic development office in town, and he was an entrepreneur. He took over the kayaks and paddle boats some years back, and he's pretty prosperous at it. And we just brought him in the city and rented those through the city for a time, and he has really grown. He's very much impressed me. He's really grown in that position, and he does a great job. And now we can move to the police and fire. But I want to talk about Paul. I want to talk about Paul Maynard a minute. He's over the dispatch, and that is that's just a tremendous place. All those dispatchers, they do a tremendous job. They're so professional. I've been in there and listened to them take calls, and they're always so calm. They always ask the questions to get all the information. They're just tremendous. And I told a story on here about one of them saving a lady's life one night, didn't they? And you know, it's a emotionally draining job, and but they just do a bang up job. And the police department, all those guys, I mean, they've got 3.5 minute response time, and you know, a lot of times I remember one particular night, a lady called and said she heard a noise in their storage building, and they were there. And as this guy came out of her storage building, they just put the cuffs on him. You know?
Oh, so, that's good.
Yeah, and you know, and they just do a great job, do a terrific job, and they I can't say enough good about them. They've got accreditations. They continually train.
They do, and they keep so, you know, ahead of technology, of trying to bring us the latest and the best, and you know, that takes a bright mind to do that.
It does.
It does.
Well, you know, we've got well, you know, they go back for the retraining, and all of them are motivated to do that. They don't have to do that, but they're all motivated to do that, and you know, they just do a tremendous job.
Yeah.
And our fire department, we don't want to forget them.
No.
They've saved us money. You know,
Yeah, they have.
They got our ISO down from a 4 to a 2, and they were a little bit upset they didn't get a 1. But I think probably next year, or maybe the year after, they'll have a ISO rating of 1, and that is unbelievable in Eastern Kentucky.
And people maybe not do not know what the ISO rating is, but that is directly connected to your insurance premiums.
It is. And I don't want to leave you out. You have done a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you, Barry. Well, I can't, you know, I couldn't do anything without the volunteers and the board that care about the community, and that know that there are people like you in there that fights for it every day.
Well, you've got some great people on the board.
We sure do. We have about 17 board members.
You do, and
we're getting ready for Christmas. We're getting ready for Christmas.
And you know, I just want to commend them, the work that they've done, and working with downtown. I mean, it's just tremendous. And you know, I want to say that my experience with the city has just been so good. I've learned so much. I've been blessed so much with meeting people. I've made friends. I've lost friends, but it's been quite an experience.
Well, there's always what's that year? 2000.
We don't even want to talk about it.
Well, I know it's just been an honor for everyone, because you are such a fine man, and I truly appreciate you as a friend, as, you know, maybe not a boss, but definitely as someone that is a leader that contributes to, makes my job so much easier.
Well, thank you, but you know, I never did look at myself as a boss or a person of authority. And you know, when I walk in City Hall, I see people as co-workers and you know, and friends. You know, I've met all their families, and you know, and they're just people just trying to make a living, just like everybody else. And you know, and they do such a tremendous job. Just wonderful people.
Well, thank you for always recognizing that. Thank you for always complimenting them and visiting, because I know what a difference that's made.
Well, you know, Andrew Carnegie said, "Give me my factories and take my people, and soon my factory floors will be covered in grass." He said, "Take my factories, give me my people, and I will build better."
Thank you. This is Minta Trimble with Commissioner Barry Cheney.